Yo, what is up, my vlog fans? I'm excited to make a new video, but in today's video, I will be talking about when I was born, to when I started high school, and to when I graduated high school. Okay, so before I get started, make sure to hit that like button and smash that subscribe button. Also, today's gonna be a good day. Let's get it. So, as you guys already know, I was born September 23rd of 2004, and I know you guys already know about my seizures and my epilepsy both. But you know, there wasn't a whole lot I did when I was younger. I can tell you that about my second grade and all throughout. Yeah. So I was in second grade, I think, in 2012. And Ray Bradbury also died in 2012 also. Rest in peace. He's a legend. But yeah, so I was in Utah at the time when I started second grade. Obviously, like everyone else. I was only 8 years old at the time. So I was 8 years old when Zedd released Clarity. But I didn't know about it until I think it was 2019 that I heard Clarity. And so during 2012, obviously you guys know who Zedd is. I was not inspired to the world of music at that point because, you know, this is before I had my robot surgery done. So I believe my first time I had my pacemaker in me, you already know about the whole thing, so we're not going to get into that. But my first, I think the first one I had was probably like May 15th of 2013. So I was probably in like third grade by then. Yeah, because I was in fourth grade by the time I was 10. Yeah. So, I was in fourth grade, obviously, when, I don't even know if you guys know about this, but back in 2014, I was just discovering music. I wasn't doing anything. But when I listened to Imagine Dragons, I just thought they were incredible. Like, I listened to Coldplay, I listened to One Republic, I listened to the Chainsmokers growing up, I listened to a whole lot of different bands. And my favorite band of all time was Castle Comer. And you probably already know who they are. They're the band that made Fire Alarm and all those other songs, All the Noise, which is my favorite songs ever. I heard Selena Gomez, an absolute legend. She's incredible. But I believe my favorite electronic artist was Kygo and Zedd, which is my favorite one. David Guetta was my famous inspiration because he made Titanium, and I just like him. He was incredible. That was my favorite DJ. They're both my favorite, but I like more than just them. But my biggest inspiration was Selena Gomez herself. Because without her, the world of music would not have been started. And we would all have been, you know, different. We would have chose acting over her singing. And she's incredible. Like, I just can't get enough about how amazing her voice is and how good it sounds. That's why I started music. Because I was inspired by Selena Gomez and the DJs that I love. And it just really inspired me, and I felt good about it. In 2015, I started getting into country, and that was a total nightmare. And I know I shouldn't trust country with my life, but, you know, because my dad doesn't like country, and I supported him on that. But I started liking country a little bit. I don't do it too much country, because country is not my thing anymore. I used to love country back in like 2021, but not anymore. I listened to like a little bit of it, but not too much. Hold on, guys. Sorry about that. I had to. Don't worry about what I just did right there. Don't worry about it. It's just me being weird. No. So in 2015, I remember I went to Washington, D.C. that following year. I think it was September 10th of 2015. Anyway, the following day, I got a camera that I used for most of the photos that I had. Most of the photos that I've taken were actually from a phone. Because, with a phone, you can do anything. You can take photos, you can do videos, all that. So we go down there. I think we drove down to, we drove down to Washington, D.C., which is in Maryland. And I love that spot so much. But no, the first day when we're there, we're basically we're walking around. Actually, no, it was a night when we got there. Yeah, the night when we got there. We were exhausted. We get there, we go to, I think I don't even know if it was Olive Garden, but we went to Cracker Barrel at some point, and we had a really wonderful dinner. And then I think we ate twice, because we ate, I think when we got to the hotel, and then we ate when we ate before we got there too. And so it was like all in on. It was like all in one round. So then the next day, we just go on like a tour. We tour the area because I love Washington, D.C. So on one of the days when we were visiting there, I just loved, Washington, and we got to do so many things in Washington, D.C., which I loved. I did get a photo of the White House, which is awesome. I didn't get to go in the White House, sadly, because not many people do. I think there's like a separate thing that they have to do that. But I wish I did, sadly. I don't know why. I think it's because when people are already president, they won't even allow you to go in the White House. Because when someone's already president, they have to decide, am I supposed to go in there or not? But I think at that time, I think Obama was already president, and so that's why I couldn't go into the White House, because I wanted to visit there and see, what was just hiding behind that window. But I couldn't, because that would be wrong, and I didn't want to. Plus, it would be illegal to trespass on that thing anyway. I wouldn't even want to do that. But no, so we hang out over there. I went into the pool once because they do have a hotel. They have a lot of hotels in Washington, D.C. And I love Washington. I've loved it since, the day I went there. But if you guys do not know, I used to study presidents, and presidents are my favorite. I used to know every single one from 1 to 47 now. And basically, yeah. So I used to memorize every single president by the number that they were given, and I'm not so much with that anymore because I haven't done it in a long time. And so I did see the Washington Monument, and I did see the Lincoln Memorial, but not the Jefferson Memorial, sadly. I wish I did. I don't know why. But it was heartbreaking. And I never forgot it because I still have photos of me in Washington when I was little. I was probably like 10 when I went there. And my birthday was probably coming up in like a week or so from the time when I went there. And I was almost 11 years old during that time. And now I'm 21 and I'm about to be 22 in September this year. Because, I'm born in 2004. So... yeah, so when we were there still, I learned so much, and this spikes everyone's minds. But when I was in Washington, D.C., I think it was 11 years ago, which is 2015, and this is when Zedd released his second album, True Colors. Yeah, I was in Washington, D.C., and it was beautiful. And a lot of people do not know this, but there were these wax figures, or like statues, whatever you call it. And I did see a few. The first one I walked into is George Washington. Obviously, he's my favorite one because he fought in the Revolutionary War. I think Alexander Hamilton was part of that, but I don't think he was even supposed to be president because the founding fathers, which is Benjamin Franklin, Alexander Hamilton, and so on and so forth, were not presidents. But they did help with the signing of the Declaration. Now, I know this because when I studied them, I didn't even know that Benjamin Franklin was not a president. Because I had a poster of all the presidents that I love, and I would count them every time. But I no longer have that poster, sadly, because it got old, and I've had it for so many years since the year I left Utah was the same year I had it. And that was 2017. But I never forgot that poster. I got rid of it the moment we moved to Nevada, I think. And the reason is because it was worn out. It was just not in good shape anymore. But before I talk to you guys some more about the stuff, I want to show you guys something that I think you'll love. Just hold on. Okay. I know a lot of you guys have been dying to see this thing for a long time. So, before I show you guys, close your eyes and then open them. I know. I know. So, if you guys do not know who drew this, my Aunt Christina, who is an amazing artist, drew this for me. And she is just incredible. Like, she drew me this Venom poster. Look at this. She drew me this entire thing. And I kept it for almost 9 years. Can you believe that? I kept this for 9 years. And it's incredible because I've held it on for so long that it's still in good shape. And I never got rid of it because I care so much about this. But at some point I will have to. It just depends. But like I said, I've had this for a long time. And I used to love Spider-Man. That's why she drew me that. Because I love Spider-Man. I used to draw him all the dang time. But that's why I have that. But more on that later. So, as you guys already know, we did lose a legend, Ozzy Osbourne, sadly, last year. But I bought his memoir at Barnes & Noble. So if you go to Barnes & Noble today, prepare to get one of these, okay? And as a reminder, don't say anything bad about Ozzy in this video because he was an excellent singer and I think he was great. Ozzy truly inspired me and he owned the world to us. And I just want to thank Ozzy for all the courage he put into his songs. He had such a great voice. He had such good tone and personality. And what I loved about Ozzy Osbourne the most is he was incredible. Like, his voice made us all cry. His voice made us all laugh. His voice made us shine bright like a diamond. And it was just sad that we lost him. And I didn't want to lose the one legend that I absolutely cared about. Because Ozzy, he was just an incredible person. And, you know, to lose someone who owns the world to the darkness that metal brings to the genre, you know, he was just an incredible guy. And I felt like he deserved more than that. Like, he was the artist that made us feel good and not bad. We wanted him to live on this earth longer than we expected, but it was too late, and we ended up losing him like last year. Same for Robert Redford. We lost him last year too. Sorry to bring both of them up, but it's true. The day Robert Redford died, I cried my eyes out. And I loved him as a celebrity. I wanted to meet Robert Redford and Ozzy Osbourne both, but I never got to, which is sad because I love them. I love them both as actors and singers both because they both made me inspired. They made me feel like I could act and I could direct and I could sing, and it just made me feel great. But those boats have officially sailed, and I didn't want that to be the first thing that was on my mind. Plus, since they're both gone, like, it wouldn't matter anyway because I can't meet them anyway. So it's like, but I'm probably gonna start reading this book soon. But like I said, if you guys want to pick one up, you guys can. I will not mention this to anyone else because I don't think it would be necessary. But I was gonna say to my old friend Christian in Nevada that sorry for Ozzy, okay. But if you feel better, okay, Christian, if you feel better, I want you to read this book to be inspired, okay. So if you guys don't know, I have an old friend named Christian Wayburn, and he's my favorite. I don't talk to him anymore, sadly, but I wish I did, along with Natara, who I'm sorry about. My friend Natara, I'm sorry. Obviously, the last time we got upset with each other, we weren't really honest about what we said, and I threw it out on her because I wasn't supportive, and I should have been. But Kira needed me, and I wasn't going to let that happen. I didn't want our relationship to end. We've been friends for like a year now. And it feels like I've lost so much of myself. Like, I'm not the same as I used to be back in 2022. Things have changed. Like, I'm different now. I don't have the same perspective I had when I was younger. When I was younger, I was different. I didn't look the same. So just remember that, you guys. Come on. Remember that. I am a good friend to everyone. Just sometimes when people bother me and upset me, I don't like that. But more on that later. I want to show you the inside of the book, though. So you guys can see that the words are just amazing. Look at that writing. So I want to take the time to honor Ozzy for all the brave songs he did for everyone. Because without his music, we would probably never have the world of metal, which is hard to do. But what I find hard to do in metal is producing it. Because when you produce metal songs, it is hard. Like, you have to go through like drums and basic producing techniques. It's hard. Like, when I started producing, I didn't know how to produce metal, and I still don't. Which is why I produce electronic, because I'm not used to producing metal. And metal is just too much for my brain, so that's why I don't listen to it. But I know a lot of people do love metal, and I'm not going to risk that for anyone. So, but yeah, like I said, check this book out today and read it if you want. I will not be linking this in my bio because I don't want people to think that I'm selling something I'm not supposed to. But let's get back to the video then. Okay, so in 2015, I think it was, I started skiing. And skiing is basically where you have two of these poles, skiing poles is what they call it, if you will. And I love skiing because skiing, it represents like sliding down a huge hill where there's a lot of snow. Now, when I tried out for Special Olympics skiing, which is hard, I had to learn a lot of basics that I did not want to learn. I wasn't really prepared for it. But, I had to pay for my own dinner. I had to do all the things. But before we went to, Mount Holly, which is where I did my, Special Olympics skiing, And a lot of people do not remember this because it's been a long time. But because I'm 22 this year, I forgot everything. And I try not to forget, but this time I did. But yeah, so the bus would pick all of us up, and no, actually, someone would pick us up, not the bus. We would, actually, I don't even know. It's been a long time. I think a bus did pick us up, and we would go to McDonald's, right? We would buy our own dinner because at that point it would already be too late by when we get back. So I had to learn like how to ski the right way. We had to know like, oh my gosh, it's so hard to think. Sorry. I had to learn French fries, which is straight, and then pizza is like this. Okay, I had to learn that when I was skiing, and a lot of amazing skiers do that. So, sorry, don't look at me when I'm I'm just being weird. But like I said, when I first started skiing, I had to do that in order to learn the basics. And you should always learn the basics when you ski. It's not about being persistent, it's about having encouragement. You have to be able to not contradict, but you have to be able to do something that you haven't done before. So, like music, that's what I do now. It took me a while to learn like how to sing and how to do all these things that I just can't do. But what a lot of people do not know is I've been singing for literally 12 years. I was singing since I was 9 years old. Literally. In 2014, I was 9 when I started singing. And then a few months later, I was 10, and it changed my life. And I'm a good singer now. Like, I've been doing it for a long time. Like, there's no doubt. So, yeah. So after that, after we were done skiing, it took us probably like a few months to be able to get the medal we deserve. So I think it was at the end of December or before December ended. So I earned my first medal, and I think it was Special Olympics skiing. But before that, I think my aunt Karina got married, which I love. And this is back in like 2015. This is like way past, But yeah, so and this was the same year that my uncle passed away. So I couldn't do anything. I was crying for like months. And I waited 10 years to make a song for him because I didn't know that it was just hard to get through. And when I started producing music, I didn't want that to be the first thing on my mind. So I ended up just figuring out what song to write, started working on chords, starting recording my voice, which is, it's hard. I don't know. But the original name was 12-5-15. That was the original name I gave it. Now, the version that I thought worked actually did not. Because it just didn't feel like the song I would have loved. But when I produced 2025 Dare We Come Alive, things took a different turn. Like, things were different when I produced that song. Like, and a lot of people do not know this, but I produced the beat a day before I recorded my Grandma Tanya's vocals on this song. And that song was pretty much all we had. Like, I produced the song and then she sang it. So there will be times where I record vocals after I produce because that's how I'm supposed to do it. I don't even know how that works. So I talked to her, I think a few weeks ago about this. She said that she does not like her voice on that song. I'm like, dude, you can't. That song was better though. Like, that song was actually really good. Plus, if I didn't make that song, I wouldn't have had a #1 hit, and I don't. But when I released that song, I wanted to go #1. And the reason is because I have 19 streams right now on my BandLab distributor. So I want to hit 1 billion, because billion streams will get you to a #1 hit. And I've seen a lot of artists do that, like OneRepublic, Beyonce probably has a #1 hit by now. Coldplay probably does too. But there's just so many artists that don't, like me. But it's okay, because that's what happens, You can't change who you are. But you can change the song that you make, which is okay, because, So in 2017, we go to California, which is where we lived at the time. I wish I could live there, though, still. We had such a beautiful house. I think it was on the corner of 1225 Colmar Road, which is where I used to live. That's where I used to live. Like, you would turn, you'd make like a few turns, and then on the side, there was like a huge tree, and then the house was like right there. That house was like right there. It was beautiful. Like, it was really beautiful. That house just made me cry. It was the most amazing house I've ever loved. But there was a reason why we had to move, because my dad was still in the military and I wasn't happy that we moved. I didn't even want to move. I wanted to stay in California. I didn't even want to go anywhere. But I realized that my dad had a lot of important things on his mind than just California. Like, he had to do a whole lot more than just what he did. He had to go through like so much, like basic military training, like writing a thesis on how the world works and how military experts handle these things and how they are supposed to fight when it comes to the war, and how it's just so much. Like, all those things is just so much. And I didn't want that to be the first thing on my mind. But I told him that he shouldn't have made us move because I wanted to be in California. And he's like, well, I don't do that, the military does. And I'm like, wait, what? So you're saying that the military does that because they're afraid of me? He's like, no. But I'm saying this because it's true. And it's not because my dad didn't like California. He loved it a lot. I just didn't want to move because California was my daydream. I wanted to move there. The first thing I wanted to go after high school, I wanted to go there, but I never achieved it, sadly. But when I become an artist, which I'm hoping to become one soon, I want to live in California again because California is my favorite spot to be. I mean, I know there are wildfires there, technically, but you have to realize that California is my #1 spot to live in. And I would not leave there at all. I would stay there until, the world ends. I love California. I'll love it till the day I die. I will not leave California. And I love it so much. But I love California because there are a lot of celebrities that live there. Like, Zed lives in California. Haley Steinfeld, I think, lives in California. Or at least she did. She's amazing. Selena Gomez, I think, lives in California, technically. But yeah, just so many artists live in California. Even actors too. Like, there are actors that actually live there too. Like Dick Van Dyke, he lives there too. And, Chris Martin's Coldplay. Like, Coldplay, the hits. But yeah, there are a lot of famous singers who live there, like Olivia Rodrigo, I think. And there's just so many of them. Like, there's so many artists that I cherish and love so much. Because they inspired me. Like, I was inspired by Zed when I was growing up. So I didn't have a whole lot. So it is what it is, But I think California was the best because I've learned so much about friendship and how it works versus, gaining someone else's trust and betraying them. So that isn't sort of something I want. it's something I want to avoid. But it's sad when things do not go the right way. And I wasn't willing to let that happen. But my dad did have to move on from California, and we had to as well. It just wasn't something we wanted. And we were there for a year, and I wasn't able to experience everything. My first thought is, how come I never got to live there for 9 years? Like, why couldn't I just, stay there throughout my whole life? Like, why couldn't I experience all that? Well, my dad turned his life into the military, and yeah. I wasn't ready for that. I wasn't ready for the military to make us move. I wasn't ready for any of that. And it still happened, and I wasn't excited. And there was just so many things I didn't even experience. Like, I wanted to visit different places in California, like Turlock and Salinas and all those things. I wanted to go across the Pacific Ocean. I wanted to see Hawaii. I wanted to go all those places, and nothing happened. Which I'm kind of upset about, because I love Hawaii. It's like my favorite state. I haven't been there, though, because, but I wanted to. And I never actually had the chance to do all that. But I cry every day because I miss it so much. But when I moved to Arizona, things were completely different. It was hard. Like, Nevada and Arizona were both hard to live in, because they're both deserts. Like, they both have different points of view. So, Arizona was not my favorite, I don't think, at all. Because one, you have the heat, which is burning like heck. And then you have Nevada, which is less of that, but on the other side. And I have been to Lake Powell once. But other than that, I haven't experienced a whole lot in Nevada or Arizona, because they're both not my favorite. I wouldn't even choose Arizona over California anyway, because they're both hot. They're both deserts. Yes, there's probably one desert in California called Death Valley, but it's not going to change the fact that, it's a sandy spot and your car will overheat. It's more like my life got ruined, and that's how it happened. It didn't make me feel any better. I wasn't happy at all when I moved to Arizona. I got bullied in school a lot. I didn't even like school at all. I wasn't even trying. I wasn't even pretending that I was learning anything. It was like the more I learned, the more harder it is. And I was not trying. I was trying to predict that if I had good grades, which I did, I wouldn't have failed the entire time. Which is why, people always ask me, why my voice sounds like this. It's difficult, Like, I didn't want my voice to sound like this, but it's my robot that makes me do that. So, it's just difficult for me to even talk like this, Like, my voice isn't the same. I don't even like my voice. It doesn't even sound like me, But there's a reason behind that, though, and I'm not going to get into it because you guys already know what happened. So, yeah, Nevada was kind of a nightmare, too. I got, the first time I officially dated was in 2022. Complete disaster. Not even knowing the fact that, gosh, I can't even bring it up. But something happened that made my entire relationship fall apart. And I say that because I wasn't happy. I was not happy at all. And it just randomly fell apart on me. And I wasn't ready to let that happen. But there are reasons to that. And the first one is that I felt betrayed. The second one is that I went through so much and so little. And the fourth is that I didn't have a great time in Nevada because I had friends that would betray me and take advantage of my relationship just because they thought they were smart, which they're not. Like, at some point, like, friends betray you. They make you feel like you're not comfortable for them. And I wasn't going to let that happen, which is why I almost got my then girlfriend in trouble, because I wasn't sure if she was the victim in this drama. So I ended up doing that, I think. And yeah, I wasn't going to handle any drama anymore. I wasn't going to. I was afraid that if I did, my whole life would just flip upside down and I would be a different person and I wouldn't act normal again. I wouldn't have had, it just wasn't me. And I didn't want that to be the thing. And I'm not saying that I'm not telling the truth to you guys. I am. It's just when things go wrong, you have to tell the truth. You can't just make up stuff like, oh, well, this person did it because they thought they were smart. No. There are reasons behind all of this. That's why I'm trying to be honest with you guys, because there are some people that just are not. And I'm irritated by all of that because I love my friends. I think that they are great. But when they lie and they betray people like me, they don't respect the courtesy or love that they share. And it's not something I want. You have to be honest in order to be someone's friend. And that's what I think is important. You know, you don't want to not lie to them. Like in Stranger Things, friends do not lie. And that is the one thing I have. It's the one rule I will always have. Friends do not lie. Remember that. Stranger Things line. Friends don't lie. Okay? Especially because when you betray someone, they don't talk to you right away. You have to give them time to readjust to the situation. And it's hard. It is hard. And I know because I've been through the exact same thing. And I know you guys, I know. It's just, I don't want to feel betrayed all the dang time, and I am. But, you know, it just happens. And I wasn't going to let that get to my head. But I care, and that's what matters, you know. When I was living in Arizona, I had a wonderful friend named Haley, who I miss greatly. And if she was here right now, she'd probably give me like a really nice hug. I just miss her so much. Like, we lived so close to each other in Arizona. We were just like the perfect friends together. We were perfect. And it makes me feel different. It makes me feel like a different person. But shout out to her, obviously, for being the best friend ever. But you know, like, she can't talk though. And when I first met her, she was amazing. She was beautiful. And she was kind. We never talked to each other very often. After I left Santa Rita, which is the school I went to, I haven't talked to her in over a few years. And after that, I left because we were moving to Nevada the next possible year, which is 2021. And I knew that there would be no way on earth I would see her again. And I just cry every day for her. Because I care, and that's what matters. I care about my friends. Like, even if I move, I still feel bad for them. Because I want them to know that they're not alone, and I feel the same way. Like, I even feel bad for the people in Nevada that I looked up to that betrayed me, even though they were the ones that, you know, did. And I wasn't going to have that happen, but at some point, I just gave up. Completely, I gave up. I ended up giving up. I wanted to give up my life completely. And then I realized that's not going to change a thing. I didn't want to hurt myself. but I wanted to, because the things that I went through were horrible. My brain surgery, my seizures, my pacemaker, it's just a lot, you know? And I just had a recent problem where I had to get up every night to use the restroom, which a lot of people do, and I could not sleep. On Sunday, I was up at 3 a.m. because of it. And I wasn't ready to fall asleep anyway, because my mind is just not that good when it comes to sleeping. So I take my meds every night because of my seizures, right? So I do that, but then as I do it, I develop this problem, and I don't know why. But I believe it's my tuberous sclerosis, and that is basically the problem. And I don't know that yet because we didn't do an ultrasound. But once we do that, we're going to figure out what the heck it is. I think it is tuberous sclerosis, though, because I've had it for so long that something's off. You know, something's off between it. But I can give you a definition if you don't know. So tuberous sclerosis is basically where there are benign tumors that grow in between, like the heart, lungs, kidneys, eyes, and skin, so on and so forth. And what they do is they're not dangerous. They try to keep you in the right position. They're not supposed to be dangerous anyway. So I was trying my best and my hardest to avoid this from happening. And it is just scary. And I didn't want to have something like that happen. But it keeps going on and on and on. And I even asked my grandma, what's the problem here? Like, it never goes away. It would never go away. And frankly, I've tried so much. I tried so much to get rid of this thing, and nothing worked. Literally nothing worked. And I tried holding it in when I sleep. Nothing works. And it just irritates the crap out of me. And I wasn't ready to handle that. Like this morning, like I couldn't handle it. I had to use the restroom so many times that I just could not handle it. It's annoying. You know when you have to get up so many times, it's annoying. And I couldn't sleep because of it. I was up at like 3 a.m. just thinking about how stupid this is. I just wanted to cry my eyes out, guys. I just did not want to even do that. Because one, the world doesn't need another problem. We already had the war in Ukraine. We already had Pearl Harbor. We already had World War I and II. We already had, the Israeli attacks. We don't need another war. Like, this isn't what we want. And right now, I'm going through a really terrible problem that I don't even think I'm going to go to work tomorrow because of it. And this is true. Like, I don't even know if I'm going to, because I basically just want to get rid of this thing. And I can't. Because that's not how it works, apparently. I told my grandma I want to do surgery on this so I can get it out of my system. But she's like, that's not how it works. I'm like, God. So then I wasn't happy, and I wanted to do something that wasn't good because I hate this problem. Like, it's been happening since February. It's just, I don't want to end up like every other person where I go to, I just don't want to end up in the hospital and die of something that's not relatable to the solution that I have or the situation that I have. And it's awful because when I experience something like this, I want to avoid it. And I don't want to use it as an example of something that I don't want. Now, this is terrible because I've hated my life the entire way. Because in California, this is awful. And I can tell you all about it. I got bullied for like the first time in 2 years. And this is a long time ago, and I know I shouldn't bring it up, but I have to. So, the day when I started school in California, I wasn't ready for it. because at some point I was just standing. These guys come up to me, shove me in this weird hole or whatever, and it was covered in sand. But like the bottom was, the top was not. It looked like a sewer, nothing in it except for sand, like I said, and it was like it was awful. And I did not want this to happen to me, but it still did, and I want to blame the person who did that, obviously, but I could not. So what happened was I ended up walking away with my backpack and my binder that broke. And I went to the principal's office where I got this guy in trouble because I was tired of being bullied and I wasn't ready for it and I had no idea what was going to happen. And so got this guy in trouble. I think he got suspended or expelled, I think, because you're not supposed to bully students. That's not how it works. And I was a student at Santa Rita, which is what they call it. And not Santa Rita, it was Seaside Middle School. Seaside, yes. So that was the spot I went to in California. It was a beautiful school. I mean, so many good students loved me, I think. I don't think all of them did, but some of them did like me. But that same year, I met so many amazing students that just liked me. But there was a weird story that I wanted to share with you guys before I get started with this whole thing. So when we lived in California, I think, my brother Dominic and I, this is a true story, we were on the trampoline, and I don't think he remembers this anymore, but I accidentally shoved him off the trampoline when we were jumping on it, and I didn't know because it's been a long time, and I remember it now because, I was there. And my grandma comes out and she's like, "You better apologize to your brother right now," and I did. I went inside crying my eyes out afterwards. Terrible. But this is another true story, and I know this is the last one. Sorry if I asked. But yeah, all of us went on the trampoline one time. My siblings, I, and my dad. It was the summertime, I think, and at this time you're not supposed to have the trampoline out. And we are on the trampoline and we're jumping and at some point the UV rays from the sun were shining down on the trampoline. My dad was jumping high in the air and crashed right through the trampoline. It popped, literally popped. And I was like, dang, why did this happen? My dad looks at us and he's like, "Get off the trampoline." Because we didn't want to embarrass him. And I was not gonna let that happen. Because when a trampoline breaks, you don't want to embarrass the person who bought it. You want to make sure that you want to make sure that they understand that it was worth a lot of money and they didn't want to put all of their money into saving up for a new one. They want to be able to earn the money they have so then they can spend it. And my dad, he's a brave guy. Shout out to my dad also. But yeah, so my dad is a really smart guy. He saved up all of his money just to do that. And we had the trampoline finally. But we had to rebuild the trampoline again. And we had to take it down summer by summer because like I told you that story, it ripped a hole through the trampoline we had before. And he was not willing to risk that. So we had to take it down before summer even started and then put it back together in November or September, whatever. So we did that. I think by last year, we got rid of the trampoline, sadly. The one that we had after the one in California, no one jumped on it in a long time. And my dad asked if you wanted me to get rid of it or if he wanted to get rid of it. And I said sure, because no one bothered to jump on it anymore, and I didn't jump on it anymore, and it was too old. Plus, we've had it since 2017. So we ended up getting rid of it, which was good because we had it for so long. And the sad part is I never got to jump on a trampoline in a long time, which I kind of feel bad about because trampolines are so popular. People have been jumping on them since like the 80s, you know, somewhere there. But it's important to notify that the trampoline was as old as I was, or probably, no. Actually, no, I was older than the trampoline. I was 13 when we got it. Now that I'm 22 this year, it makes it a whole lot harder than you think. And it was hard because I just wanted to throw myself into a wall after that. I wasn't ready for the trampoline to go. I was not ready. You know, it wasn't something I wanted. I wanted to savor the last moments for when we had it. But it was time for it to go, and I just wasn't ready. But I had to, so I did. When we were in when we were in Arizona, so the last day when we were in Arizona, I think, I said bye to Haley, and I hugged her, and I told her that I would miss her, and I cared about her and all that. I gave her some flowers, which she absolutely loved. Miss you. And I gave her a box of chocolates, which she loved too. But if she was here right now, I just want to tell her that I love her as a friend and that I will never forget her. She was an inspiration to me and all the people at school that I loved also. I want to thank a really nice friend of mine, Jackie, who I went to school with in Santa Rita. If she's still there, you know, I want to thank her because when I turned 15 in 2019, she was an excellent friend. She liked me. Same for my friend Amanda. Thank you so much. But during my birthday, I got my first typewriter in 2019, and it was incredible. My first typewriter, I think it's like 7 years old now, before my birthday. Before my birthday this year, it would be like 7 years old. I got my first typewriter, I think it was September 22nd of 2019. And I know you guys are probably saying I'm old now and that I need to shape my way to being a better person. I know. It's ridiculous. I don't even know how long it's been since it's ridiculous, you know? I've aged so much. Now you can see my face and it's like, how did this guy go from being younger to older? Well, I can tell you, it's all about age. It's all about age, and it's when you get older is the problem. I hear a lot of people talk to me about that. Sorry if I'm embarrassing you guys, but it's just something I like to joke around about, and I know it's not good. Yeah, it was just funny. But anyway, so there was a restaurant that we went to called Peter Pepper Pizza, and it was good. But on my birthday, I got this amazing plaque, and it was basically like a spatula. So my dad was talking to me. He was like, Gabe, you know you can smack people with that, right? I'm like, yeah, but I'm not going to. Yeah, it was funny, but I had so many people sign their names on it. I still have it too, by the way. I still have it after 7 years. I have it after 7 years of just my birthday. Yeah. The funny story about that is I will not bring it up because I don't care. 2019 was such a great year. I had so many friends I liked, and it was amazing. Just getting to know them, getting to trust them, knowing how to react to how they feel, you know, it's just, they're amazing, and I won't forget them. But in 2023, I graduated high school, and I can tell you what day if you want. May 23rd of 2023. And if you guys do not know, May 23rd of 2021 was the same day Okay, get this. It was the same day I said bye to my friend Haley before we went to Nevada. It's true. May 23rd is the exact same day. So that photo would have turned, I think, 2 years old. 2 years old. So now that photo is probably like 5 years old now. But the day when I celebrate that photo anniversary that we took, I'm probably going to make a video because in honor of it being 5 years since we took that photo, like, I want to cherish it. I want to remember it. I want to think about her and her amazing friend that she has, which is me. And I still love her as a friend also, for those who are wondering. But you know, it's been a long time and I wanted to make it look real. And I wanted it to feel good to her. Like, I wanted her to feel like I was a good friend to her and that I liked her. Because, you know, I care about Haley still. I care about her. She was a good friend. She had a lot of courage. She had a lot of strength. She had a lot of passion. And I never forgot that. I never forgot that about her. I've always thought she was amazing. I thought she was incredible. But, which means something else too. But, I just liked her. Like, she was the first person that ever introduced me to Clarity by Zedd. Literally. I saw her listening to it one time when I was in school. And I was like, wait, this song is Clarity? And I listened to it. It is incredible. Foxes is an incredible singer. Zedd is an amazing DJ. Like, all these amazing artists are incredible. Like, when you have something like Lost at Sea by Zedd and Ryan Tedder, you're trying to picture, like, how good are these people? Well, they've been doing it for years, so they're probably up to the point where they're not even doing music anymore. But I know OneRepublic still does music, so they're probably fine. But I'm saying that the artists from the 70s probably won't make music anymore. Because when you get older, you can't use your voice as much anymore. Because it's not meant to be used when you're in your 60s or 70s. So at this stage, I'm already under the way of my voice being a great position. So you can see what I'm doing, right? You can just see that I can sing well. And it's because of my practicing. And thanks for watching. See you guys later. Peace.